Good morning and welcome to Valencia, the historic and beautiful city of art and science. Of course, the fabulous beaches are out there as well, and plenty of beautiful people checking into the Feria Valencia as they come here to witness StarCraft 2 history being made, as one player will walk away with a top prize and, of course, the star of the DreamHack ZOWIE Open Valencia title. Welcome to day 2. A big shout out to our sponsors, ZOWIE, Razer, G2A, Monster Energy, Alienware, and Blizzard, of course, as well. Do keep your tweets coming. We want to see what you have to say about the predictions of all 16 players in the round of 16 today. 8 matches ahead of us, of course. And also, make sure you use the hashtags, #DHOpen and #WCS. We're going to get into day 2 very shortly. But first, let's talk about day 1 with our panel of members, scrubs, call them what you will. Except for the Muslim, because he's the only Terran on the panels. He's the only one I actually care about. Pig, don't care. Todd, don't care. How you doing?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Getting called scrub in the first 10 seconds of the broadcast, man. Like,
I'm just setting the scene for the rest of the day. You know, I just want to make sure that we get on all right from day 1. Yeah, good day 1, Pig, I thought.
Yeah,
very interesting matches.
A couple of upsets in there. And, yeah, I mean, Stefano went through.
Yep.
Woo! So, yeah, a few exciting matchups today as well. And it's the round of 16 today, so it's going to be getting more and more exciting. But there was a lot of surprises right from the get-go yesterday.
In fact, this is one of the first upsets happening. Rail beating Marine Lord 2-1 and actually going through that group, knocking out Harston, one of the, I wouldn't say the favorite, but definitely a top 5 contender here. Polt lost against Mana, Majestic beating Probe. That was kind of expected given he's Australian and stuff. But, you know, like, yeah, we had a lot of upsets.
Todd, what stood out for you yesterday?
Again, I think Showtime Polt was really the highlight of the day. It was such a great series. I love 5-game series like this, and I hope we get some more here today.
Yeah, sort of also making it through yesterday as well. We also, here is that epic battle at the end of map 5 between Showtime and Polt. Showtime coming through that one. We'll see him again in the round of 16. We also had the Liquid team kill, as has become the norm at these events. This time round it's Snoot versus Bunny, and this one went the way of Snoot in the end, but Bunny taking the opening game in that particular best of 5. And then at the end of the day, we had the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Stefano, coming through against Puck with not a single game dropped. You know, I don't know if we'll see the replay of him saying 3-0 or not. Will we? 3-0? Is it coming? Is it coming? Is it coming? There it is. 3-0. Stefano laying the smackdown in the round of 32. We'll see him again today. He plays in the last game of the day. So, yeah, fantastic.
I love watching Stefano. Just him as a person, it's great to see win, and applauding himself at the end of the game. But his style also, he was like the demolition Zerg, you know, like mass Ling, Baneling, harassing everywhere. Multiple armies doing things all at the same time too. So his style was truly a breath of fresh air. I think Sorlov played really well too, actually.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't get much mention, but he was very strong. And there's still a few players that we haven't seen on camera yet, and we'll get to see every player today. But Neve, I'm looking really forward to see, and Nurcho, teammate, and he's always really solid, really good games.
In the past, it's not always been the case that we've been able to show every round of 16 games, so it's the first year, and I quite like it. You know, it's going to be a long day, obviously, but
I don't want to tempt fate here, but we have potentially 40 games ahead of us today. There are 8 games, 8 matches, 8 series of best of 5. Could be 40 game. I don't want to get too carried away. Anyway, there is a couple of other members, of course, of our broadcast team that we haven't said hi to this morning, so let's check in with them in Sioux City.
Sioux City, that's a new one. I like that. Thank you very much, Paul. Of course, I'm joined here with Kevin Rotterdam. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. 40
I'm excited
games.
too.
I mean, there's a chance that we might only get like 36, but even that would make me quite happy, you know?
36.
No, it's going to be a really good day. I like what Todd said, you know, DreamHack Leipzig. I felt that the round of 16 was very good too, but I think in the end we did like 3 matches, and then we hopped into the quarterfinals. And
and now we get to see all of it.
Yeah, like obviously, like I understand from production point of view, sometimes it's hard to really show as much as you want to, but as the StarCraft fan in me is like, oh man, a lot of these games are really good and we never even got to see them, and then you don't even know where to find the VODs afterwards. So it's actually very nice to be here and not only be part of the show, but be able to watch everything.
Yeah, and there's a lot of great matchups coming up in the round of 16. Is there a few? I know the panel was just discussing a few, but were there some that you're looking forward to? Oh,
absolutely.
Tilo doing his cheeky little warm-ups as he thinks of
caught red-handed, Dario.
Literally red-handed, yeah.
Absolutely multiple series. I think we saved the best for last. I generally think
definitely. It's funny how that works out, right?
I think that Stefano against Marine Lord is going to be quality entertainment in more than just one way. I think the games will be good. The smack talk is going to be better.
Oh, it's already been so good.
And the post-game interview is going to be the best of the day, that's for sure. Other than that, I think Nurcho Drogo is going to be one hell of a series. Sort of Major, like maybe Major can find... Like, it's going to be cool either way, because either sort of makes it to the quarterfinals, and that's very well deserved, or Major finally gets over the hurdle that he has of traveling bad and not playing well at offline events. So those three, but you know, to be honest, there are more series I look forward to than not look forward to.
We have a Neeb Hydra rematch coming up as well, so that'll be interesting, because the last time I spoke with Neeb, he actually, despite Hydra being such a strong contender, he basically made it seem like he wasn't scared of Hydra at all. So, I mean, we'll see if that confidence comes out today, I guess.
Yeah, I think he even said at Austin, right, that he's like, well, even though I lost to Hydra and I beat Snoot, I'm pretty sure that Snoot is better than Hydra. And I didn't lose because Hydra played good. I lost because I made unnecessary errors, and you know, next time it won't happen. So
and
far,
he
I think,
lived up to it.
Yeah, I think he played him twice, and I think he beat him twice up to that moment. So I think he beat him in tours, right?
Yeah, he beat him at tours, Yep,
and then he also beat him very recently in Challenger. But those games are always close. It's always 3-2. Like, Neeb makes it sound like these are 6-0 victories, but you know, they're 3-2. So let's not count Hydra out. But you know, if I have to pick one, I still lean towards young American Hope.
Yeah, well, we will be having a lot of conversations with the winners at the couch area over here. But of course, it's time to get this day started. I think Red Eye will be walking us through WCS and how Valencia fits in with everything. So take us through.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Smix and Rotterdam there on the couch. We'll hear from them a little bit later on. Yes, it's time to talk about WCS, because this is part of the WCS circuit system, of course. It's a WCS 5,000 point tournament, and those points are very vital as we come towards the end of the season right now. Polton, Showtime and Green on your screen, because they are already qualified, having won one of the championships already. There is another championship to come, obviously, at DreamHack over in Montreal. But the players below that, gents, Snoot still in, Nurcho still in, Hydra, Neeb, Laser, Droga, all still in, which is a little bit worrying for the rest of the crowd that are chasing those pack, because they need the points as well. Viola not here, Massa dropping out, obviously. Harstom's gone, Puck's gone, Bly's gone, Euthermal's gone. There's a big chance here for players like Sortov in 19th and some of the players outside, Todd, of the top 20 to start making an impression on this top 20.
Absolutely. A bunch of these players got knocked out, but there is always... It's very open, you know, in terms of potential for some of these players to still make it into that top 8 there and then try and qualify for the global finals. So these stories are always interesting to follow. And to follow up on what you said, that we could have 40 maps played, by the way, today.
Yes.
It could be more. We've had a couple draws happen. I just want to remind you guys of that possibility, especially we've got some series, starting with our first one here, TLO against Rail. This is a crazy matchup. I could totally see a draw happen here and there, maybe eventually.
Okay, thanks for that. That's very good. Well done, Todd. He's reminded us of the fact that we could have even more than 40 maps today. Let's take you through the format of what the DreamHack ZOWIE Open looks like. We've had Group Stage 1 and Group Stage 2, of course, yesterday. We also had the round of 32 yesterday as well. And 96 players have now been whittled down to just 16. The playoffs now continue through single elimination. All of them best of 5 until we get to the grand final, which will be best of 7. The quarters, the semis and the final are all streamed live from Valencia tomorrow. Today, though, we'll focus on the round of 16. So let's take you through the groups as well, but through the bracket system as well, because yesterday's round of 32 really did eliminate some very good players indeed. Our round of 16 looks something like this. You can see Raul versus TLO. That will be our first matchup of the day. Major, sort of. Heard Kevin talking about it before. Nurcio versus Drogo. Fantastic game between those two. Looking forward to Showtime versus a Laser as well. Don't think that's quite as one-sided as people think. Vortex versus Reina. What a great and interesting matchup that one is. The youngster from Italy going up against the veteran Spaniard who hasn't played an awful lot of StarCraft. Lil Bo also in the same boat as Vortex. He goes up against the very informed Snoot. And then we have the massive game of Hydra versus Neeb. And we'll end the day with the Battle of France. Stefano versus Marine Lord. it's hard to pick out one particular match, Pig, but if you had to pick one, what are you most looking forward to?
I mean, I've got to be excited for the end of the day where, you know, Meme Lord going up against Stefano, the raw veteran that he is. There's going to be some banter. It's going to be good. But, you know, I think flying under the radar, the second match of the day as well, sort of going up against Major. Two players who go under the radar. You know, everyone says they're fantastic in practice. We don't get to see it that much at a live performance. So
they're actually practice partners as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So that makes it even cooler. Like Major shares with me some of the replays, and we like, you know, get to see each other. And he was saying before the event, he was talking about Mechanics Bergman, aka sort of, but he's saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna make fun of him the whole time. And now they're meeting in the top 16. Like, yeah, so that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be very cool indeed. So take a look at the schedule for today and show you exactly what we've got mapped out for you. It's pretty much as you'd expect with the bracket. We'll kick off with Rail versus TLO in a few moments' time. We'll follow that up with Major versus Swordorf and go all the way through the bracket, showing you every single series right up to the very end. Around about 9:20 this evening, Stefano versus Marine Lord. All those times, of course, subject to change depending on how quickly or how slowly some of the series play out. There could be a couple of 3-0s today. I'm pretty sure that will happen as we go through the day as well. So it's time to get into our first game. So let's start talking about our first two players. It's a very interesting matchup between two players who've had very different routes to the round of 16. TLO versus Rael, or you may know him under a different name. He was formerly called Verdi, of course. Currently ranked 112th in the world, which doesn't really tell us an awful lot right now. But he is 11-4 in this particular tournament. Most notably, Ben, Harstem and Marine Lord both lost to him in the group stage.
You can't look down upon Rael right now. He beat Marine Lord, who, again, one of the best Terrans in this tournament. I'd class him as top 2, along with Major, maybe with top 3 with Thermal. And Harstem, he just came off a Home Story Cup victory. They're both very, very strong. So the fact that this guy beat them both, got to give him massive credit. That being said, he plays a lot of ladder and he sticks to his roots. He has a pattern that he goes by, and TLO's a smart guy. Like, whatever TLO's been through, he's a smart guy. And I think TLO will have what it takes to read this guy and know how to counter him.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because you would have expected players of the quality of Harstem and Marine Lord perhaps to have figured that out themselves. So why didn't they do that?
I don't think they're as smart as TLO, honestly.
Just be honest, Ben. Don't hold back now.
Yeah, I think it can be something as basic as that. But also, TLO plays a lot of ladder. Harstem and Marine Lord, they stick to their custom game circles and such.
I've got to look at TLO's win rate right now. It's not good, is it?
0% and he's here. You know, he might be
I'm not so sure that that's accurate right now, boys.
It's probably not that many games. You know, maybe they just met like 1 or 2 times. Yeah. So usually you shouldn't read into this win rate.
They have only played once, and it was a 2-0 to Rail. So yeah, that's why his win rate. It's actually a versus win rate. We should make that clear. Yeah, he came through Group G, won that one pretty handsomely. 2-0 over Botvinnik and 2-1 over Puck. Was the only map he's dropped so far in the tournament, and then a 3-0 against Elroy in the round of 32. So he's looking good. Is the Wunderwunsch?
Yeah, he's starting to pick up some steam, and it's something he's been. I mean, the fans have been waiting for it. This year's been slow for TLO. He's had a tough time. There have been times where he comes out of tournament losses and he just kind of says, like, man, Legacy's hard. Like, what do I need to do to get up to that point? And I think he's starting to gain steam here. Yeah. He's starting to play better. I know some people have been analyzing on the forums saying he's got to get back to his roots and be a little bit more creative sometimes, because sometimes he's playing a bit too standard. I'm not sure 100% if I agree with that, but I definitely feel like ZVP is a matchup which kind of flummoxes him right now.
I just immediately want to disagree with those people on the forums that talk about Dario needs to be more creative and stuff. Dario has always been creative, but sometimes I feel he gets too creative. Yeah. But there was a period of time, and I think this was around 2014, where Dario was easily a top 5 player in Europe. Never mind top 5 Zerg, top 5 player. And it got to a point where playing Snoot or playing Dario, I actually preferred playing Snoot, even when Snoot was considered the best European, just because of how solid Dario became. Very erratic, but he just neatened up his control a little bit, softened it all down. Because when you watch him play, his screen's all over the shop, the mouse is all over the shop, very high sense and stuff, but he really knuckled it down. So Dario definitely has potential to be a very messy player, but it's all going in the right way.
Hard to play against as well. Yeah,
so I don't think he needs to be more creative at all. I want to, ignore those people on the forum saying that Dario can be very solid.
Okay. Does it worry you at all when it comes to predictions, Todd, that his worst matchup is versus Protoss?
A little bit, and at the same time, if we look at who they faced so far, you know, Rail, he beat Marine Lords, he beat Harstem. Yeah. That's pretty impressive. You know, like it kind of feels like, you know, is on a path to maybe playing more top foreigners, you know, like Snoot and Showtime, and maybe even beating them as well. So TLO's his next opponent, and I feel like it's going to be a clash of a crazy Protoss who loves to play super aggressive against a creative TLO who sometimes gets overly creative. And, you know, I call it fancy play syndrome, where you try to play a little bit too fancy sometimes and it kind of backfires and you end up losing because of it. So he's going to have to be careful not to let that happen here against Rail.
Fancy play syndrome, FPS. I like that. It's very good. Let's go through the predictions. So, Top, which way are you going?
I'm going to go with TLO. I feel like it's a hard one, but I think TLO with 3-2-2.
Okay, so very close indeed.
Yeah, I'll go with the same. I think Dario's building up steam. I think he's a smart player, so 3-2.
Okay, Ben?
I'll go with a 3-1 victory for Dario.
Really? So you're all going TLO. So despite the fact that we've said he's a bit inconsistent, a bit messy, his controls all over the place, he's a bit of a weird player.
You can't go against the Van der Wunsch, right? You just can't.
Well, there we go then. We can't go against the Van der Wunsch. Fine words indeed from Todd. Right, let's hand you over to our commentary team for our first series of the round of 16. This one is Pig and Todd.
Thank you.